Every time the pressure rises, we play better. Let's go take down the field.
An Ultiworld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Brute Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.
Welcome back to Ultiworld's live coverage of the 2019 Pro Championships. We have second round action coming at you here in the women's division between number 1 Boston Brute Squad and number 10 Raleigh Phoenix. Two teams coming off of upsets in the previous round. Phoenix knocking off Toronto Sixers. Boston Brute Squad losing to San Francisco Fury. So Phoenix trying to continue their hot start. Brute Squad trying to turn it around. Daniel Prentice alongside Eileen Murray here. Eileen, what are you looking forward to in this game?
I'm really looking forward to continue to see Phoenix's success this season. I feel like they've had a really good season, partially prompted by the Premier Ultimate League and their ability to have those early reps as a squad. It's basically the same roster. So I'm really excited to see them against Brute in this way, because Brute is a long-standing program. So I'm really excited to see what happens in this game.
Brute Squad, of course, one of the premier clubs in all of Ultimate. Have been in 4 straight national championship games dating back to 2015. They've lost the last 2 on double game point, both to Fury, who they just lost to on Universe in the first round. So not the start they were looking for the number 1 team via the Ultiworld Power Rankings. As I mentioned, Phoenix coming off a surprising upset over Toronto Sixers. Strong start for them, as Eileen said, kind of the upstarts here. They made a return to nationals a season ago after missing in 2017 and have had some strong additions to this team. We see Ashley Powell starting for Phoenix as they start in offense, and now a turnover deep from Jesse Jones. So Brute Squad will have an early break chance. It's Vicky Negus with the disc for Brute Squad. See Cammie Groom coming underneath. Brute Squad trying to take advantage of the early turnover. Caitlin Lee saving that one at her shoelaces. And now goes to the inside forehand. Angela Zhu with the disc. Zhu dropping it back to Lee, and she continues to the end zone, but that's out of Groom's reach. So Brute Squad with the red zone turnover, giving it right back. Sloppy start here from both teams.
Jesse Jones is gonna have to see pretty soon that this side of the field where we're sitting right now, the forehand is much harder to throw. I don't know where they were playing their last game, but that first turnover was probably her getting the sense of that.
Yeah, little windy. Phoenix working into that wind as we see Carmen Tormey going down the line to Claire Revere. And Revere going to continue to the end zone, looking for Ann Worth, the pair of defenders in the area, and it's Zhu who rips it out of the sky. Tough look there from Revere trying to find Worth, and Brute Squad capitalizes with another takeaway. Cammie Groom getting it back to the middle of the field to Lee, who swings it to Zhu. Zhu, one of the premier throwers in women's ultimate, holsters the huck there with Lauren Sadler downfield. Elects to go back to Groom to the far side. And chased and saved by Sophie Holbert, that one popping up over her head from Groom. Holbert saves it now, looking for Sadler in the end zone, and Sadler gives chase, and she makes a great grab as well. A couple of highlight reel catches for Brute Squad, and they get on the board with the game's first break.
Similar to the first point of the first game on this field, teams really trying to figure out the wind and seeing the impact of it. Like I said, this side of the field is harder to throw out of, and we saw that both turnovers that Phoenix have were from flicks on this sideline.
Yeah, a couple of cases of Phoenix proving the commentator right there for you, Eileen. That throw into traffic as well from Revere, and we see that great possession-saving layout from Holbert. Comes up firing right away.
Well, I'm excited to see Holbert healthy and playing in this game. I was recently up in Boston for the Eurostars game. Holbert was not there. And earlier in the season, I know she was struggling with a little bit of injury, so excited to see her make an impact on this very first point.
Yeah, Holbert definitely an exciting player. I think one of the lesser-known names on this Brute Squad team. Played with her first year on Brute Squad a season ago, but clearly very athletic, capable of those explosive, exciting plays. Often defensively, very capable of layout block, but we saw the offensive acumen there to save possession, and Brute Squad gets the opening break. So Phoenix sending a rotated O-line out there to try to get on the board. We see Juliana Warfully sending the pull down for Brute.
So Phoenix is playing a pod system where they have O, D, and flex. And so right now their flex line is on. They do this when their offense gets broken. So they have a whole other squad that can come on, try to score the next point.
We see Lila Standlin throwing too high, but it's saved by Janes. Rowan Janes, not the intended target, but she makes the grab, resets it back to Lindsay Sue. Phoenix now in the red zone, and then caught for the score. Georgia Say makes the grab, going to the ground.
And it's nice to see Sue back on the field. She is coming back from a concussion. I think this is her first tournament back since that injury happened. And having her on the field, she was the MVP of their Premier Ultimate League team, the Raleigh Radiance. So it's nice to have her back.
And Sue, as you mentioned, Eileen, she's one of those players that came back, played with Washington, D.C. Scandal last season, played a strong role with the quarters team a season ago, returning back to Raleigh Phoenix this year and as a captain on the team. And she is our player to watch for Raleigh Phoenix. And it's Lindsay Sue's birthday today. Happy birthday, Lindsay Sue, turning 25 today. And as Eileen just mentioned, the 2019 PUL Championship Weekend MVP. Really just had a great weekend, great performance in both games. And she is also a coach of a lot of her teammates here on Phoenix as an assistant coach for University of North Carolina Pleiades, team that made college semifinals this year, and a big pipeline for this Phoenix program. A lot of players have come through Pleiades or are currently still on Pleiades. We see Brute Squad out there on offense for the first time. Claudia Tajima going to bring it over to Synchro, but that pops up over her head, and that's a short field turnover. So Phoenix will have a short field chance to get this break back. It's Elizabeth Parker. Gets it to the hands of Bridget Meisner, but the unforced drop gives it back to Brute Squad. Leanne Hoffman wide open and unmarked, airing out a forehand for Synchro. Parker in the area. A curious lack of zip on that pass from Hoffman. Looked a little hesitant to go to the throw, and it leads to a turnover. So Phoenix will have their second possession of this D point. There's Jenny Way getting open strike. And now Phoenix approaching midfield. Parker stooping to save that one. She's going to go for a big forehand downfield, but that is beyond the reach of her intended target, Judy Ledley.
It's not often that O-line gets this many opportunities to keep the hold. This is, I think, the third time, maybe third time's a charm. But, you know, again, the wind is very strange on this field. It's dead, and then it swirls up, and I think it's causing some problems with the O-lines because they just can't get into a groove.
See Hoffman getting open underneath. And Jessie Grignon-Tomas getting a few yards on the far sideline. Her forehand, though, to nobody downfield. Miscommunication with her cutters. I think she was looking for a cut downfield when everyone was coming underneath. So Phoenix takes over once again. Parker not able to connect with Way. Miscues from both sides here. Brute Squad trying to slog their way to this hold. Tajima able to break the mark and finding Claire Trope underneath. trope, finds Malinowski with a odd little push pass. Brute Squad enters the red zone and then enters the end zone as Hoffman flips it to Yuga Zhao. So not a pretty start for the Brute Squad offense, but they do get the hold to maintain their lead.
Well, and also after a loss in the first round, getting everyone keyed in again and backfiring is really important. So I'm glad they held, even if it was a little bit messy.
And Eileen, this Brute Squad offense, everyone talks about how good the defense is, and it has been the reason that they have been to 4 straight national championship games. The offense, I think, has been the reason that they have not won 4 straight national championship games, and when they have struggled this season, it's been on the offensive side. We saw it last round against Fury where they lost 12-11, so not a high-scoring game there. And the offensive struggles start for them on this game. What's something that, we've only seen 1 point in this game, of course, but is there an area where you think that they can improve offensively? Obviously, they're not going to be able to bring in any, personnel changes at this point in the year.
Right. Well, I mean, you saw the little bit of miscommunication, and so I know that they work within their system, but I think sometimes maybe being a little bit flexible in what they can do. I think being so tight and so wed to what they want to do sometimes causes them to play a little bit tight, and that causes, I think, some of their misfortunes in terms of their offensive possessions.
It's Phoenix with the offensive possession now as Worth finds Revere down the sideline. Revere looking for Katie Backus in the end zone. She's able to maybe get a fingernail to it, but unable to make the trailing edge catch. Tough ask by Revere, looking for Backus in the end zone. It was always been a tough play for Backus. So Brute Squad already 1 break to their name, looking for another. It's Zhu picking up. She'll have the disc on her own goal line. High stall from Zhu, looking for Rachel Kramer. That goes off the fingertips. Jesse Jones picking up on the near sideline about 10 yards outside the end zone. Worth with the strong cut to gain some separation from Lee. She gives it right back to Jones. Right back to Worth once again. Those two do all the work in the red zone. Worth to Jones to cap it off. So after the turnover, Phoenix gets it right back with some tight defense down there near the end zone. Worth and Jones take over, and Raleigh gets the hold.
Did they forget about the rest of the players on the field there?
Perhaps so, but it worked out for them nonetheless.
I had a great opportunity to go down to North Carolina this year to host a USAU Talent ID camp for U20, and Jesse Jones was there helping out coaching. What a phenomenal player, great ultimate mind. It was such a pleasure getting to talk with her a little bit after competing against her, coaching against her, and getting to pick her brain a little bit, which was really nice. She is so good in the backfield, so good at that quick give and go, so confident. I love watching her play.
And she's been so good for quite a while now, which is kind of in contrast to a lot of this Phoenix team, which is relatively very young. Jones, one of the more veteran players on this team, and certainly a very important role. And one of just the best pure offensive talents in the division, I would say, Eileen.
Yep.
A lot of fun to watch, as you said.
So let's see if Brute can clean up their O a little bit. I'm really excited to see Yuga Zhao on the O line after her success at U24s this year.
Yeah, a young player who just finished her college career at Columbia, not a program that is pumping out a ton of elite-level ultimate players. But Zhao, the Brute Squad rookie, has really settled in, found a nice role for herself on this offense. We see Alana Schwamm with it for Brute Squad, trying to get it to Jessie Grignon-Tomas underneath, but pressure from Sue, able to get the block. Grignon-Tomas not able to hang on under duress from the Phoenix defender. So Phoenix coming back the other way, looking for a break now. Disc with Sue. That throw popping up in the air. Olsen able to get a finger to it, but Tajima getting it back for Brute Squad, and now she's popping a hammer to the end zone. Big bid from Chow, but was never really going to have a play on that throw from Tajima.
Well, a little better communication between the two players in the end zone might have actually helped that out, but Xiao making that layout, the other offensive player, I didn't see who that was, really was just completely unable to make a play on it.
And we have an unforced drop from Janes underneath to give Brute Squad a very short field opportunity. Tajima picking up points again and gets it to the middle to Chow. Chow going to send the lefty continue to Claire Trope across the front of the end zone. So again, the Brute Squad offense doesn't exactly make it look pretty, but they do get the hope. You see the block from Tajima. A little trigger happy with the hammer the first time around. A little more conventional the second time. Gets the continue for the score.
I've loved watching Claire Trope on this Brute Squad team this year. It's been super fun to have her integrate into the squad. Such an impactful player.
Yeah, and she is working her way into that offense alongside Jessie Grignon-Tomas, our player to watch for Boston Brute Squad, in addition to the team a season ago. She is French, Canadian, and Spanish in heritage, so one of the more fun names to say as a commentator in the division, Jessie Grignon-Tomas. She competed in the World Ultimate Guts Championships with Canada the last time around. She gets pumped up by Kendrick Lamar. I mean, who among us doesn't?
Right.
That one I can relate to. There's not a whole lot I can relate to about elite level Ultimate players, but that one I can get behind. We see Phoenix here on offense. Powell with the high release, finding Worth. Revere already a couple of turnovers, still maybe trying to work her way into this offense after coming over from Seattle Mixtape this offseason. See Backus looking to the end zone for Jones. Completes it down the line. Impressive offensive point from Phoenix for the hold.
You know, and we see Brute coming out with match defense, and one of the things that was effective in the first round on this field was playing more junky because of the variability of the wind. So thinking about what Coach Ari Jackson might be able to do in this, moving forward in this game is trying some varying defenses to stop that offensive flow.
Jackson, one of the premier minds, I would say, in the sport of Ultimate, one of the best strategists in the game. Already a multi-time Ultiworld Coach of the Year winner. And of course, Brute Squad always has a lot of talent on the roster, but Jackson often does a very good job of getting the most out of that talent. See the Phoenix D line out there once again. They've had some chances, but have not had a break yet. Had some offensive miscues the other way once they've gotten the disc.
And Phoenix is playing without their coach this weekend, Eddie Alcorn. They were invited late to this tournament, and so he already had something to do. Doesn't seem like it's bothering them too much.
Not too much here anyway, as Anna Chesky intercepts that one. Just now with Jackie Wang, as Phoenix trying to capitalize on this short field break opportunity. Another unforced error from the Brute offense. We see Bridget Meisner with the disc now. Meisner giving chase, able to track it down just outside the end zone. Phoenix now a little trapped near that sideline, able to get it off, and Wang continues to the end zone for the score. Connecting there with her cutter in the end zone for the score. So Phoenix gets the break, get the game back on serve.
That was really nice use of the width of the field, getting it to the middle and then immediately turning and firing. And that really shows how much they have confidence in each other and just have that chemistry built up. this year.
See Murphy, the one pulling in, but she was all alone once Phoenix was able to get that throw off the sideline and the quick continue. But again, the offensive miscues continuing for Brute Squad. Really perplexing to see some of these turnovers. That one totally unforced from Amber Sinacrope, one of the most experienced and really one of just, the most talented handlers in the division.
I think this is her 14th or 15th year.
She's been around quite a while, yes. So she will be unfazed by the less than stellar start for their offensive unit. But
so you see that they put out Tulsa Douglas and Cassie Wong, and I am a little bit biased, I guess, for those two players, having coached them this season. Wonderful players, and really two players that can play both sides of the disc very comfortably. So excited to see them out there together.
Yeah, one of my personal favorite Ultimate memories was the 2018 D3 College Championships, watching Tulsa Douglas do literally everything for St. Olaf en route to a national championship. Very talented player indeed, as so many of players on this Brute Squad roster are. Seems that they were all college stars in their day. Juliana Worfley certainly fits that bill as she gets the centering pass. Disc with Groom, and now in the hands of Tajima. Groom and Tajima, a little quick give-go, putting Brute Squad just outside the end zone. Tajima shifting the mark with her fakes, trying to find an open player downfield. And Cami Groom, one of the best players in the division at getting open. She does there in the front of the end zone. Brute Squad gets the clean hold. So really the first sign of smoothness from that Brute Squad offense. They tie the game back up.
When you're beyond the college division, I mean, if you look at how many players on Brute have experience on Worlds teams, both in the U20, U24, but then also just the Club Worlds teams. So they have a wealth of experience and knowledge.
Yeah, a lot of players that have played the game at a high and international level for quite a long time.
And one of the things too, I mean, so Lindsay Sue playing with DC last year, you having these experiences on other teams with other coaches, on other squads, and international competitions, things like that, just really helps to develop your game much more quickly, I think, than staying with the same squad the entire time and kind of like getting into a niche. So, even though Lindsay was on DC, I mean, I can imagine her bringing all of that knowledge back to her hometown team and just helping them elevate this year.
Absolutely. And Sue really was one of, she wasn't just a member of that Skadel team, was a key and important role on that team, a defensive standout. And, we've been touting Brute Squad's experience on the international level. Lindsay Sue, one of a handful of players in this Phoenix team that has played internationally for USA. She was on the women's team that won gold in 2014, U24 level. Back is able to squeeze that one into Tormey. She dumps it back to Jones. Powell, another Phoenix player with U24 experience, and she is able to find Backus in the end zone. More impressive offense from Phoenix. They get another clean hold.
Yeah, how many people on the Phoenix this year just competed? I mean, on this field right now, how many people just came from gold medal wins, the U24?
Well, Ann Worth out there was on the mixed team that won.
Yuga Xiao on the women's.
Yep. For Brute Squad, of course.
I mean, why wasn't that happening when I was 24?
The game continues to grow and get bigger, Eileen, and I think you just got to work your way to being a coach. Get your gold medal that way, I would say.
It's the only way I'm going to do it now. Although great grandmasters,
there you
that's
go.
Coming.
Certainly, that's still in your feet. I'm just saying at the U24 level,
right.
That might be your best bet.
Right. Not sure if Brute has their new coach, Rob Brazil, out today. I haven't seen him yet, but he's a first-year coach with Brute Squad, has a lot of experience in the youth division. And Tulsa Douglas was his first captain for U20, YCC U20 team, and now he's coaching her again on Brute, which is super fun.
In the Boston youth scene, of course, one of the strongest perennially in the country, always producing top-level players. And Brute Squad, of course, draws players from all across the country, players relocating to Boston, but also have a strong pipeline locally, developing their own talent as well. Amber Sinacrope, one of those local Boston products, hitting one of the transplants, Lane Cedar, a Brute Squad rookie this year. Cedar going for the big forehand to Hoffman. Hoffman going up, doinks off her hands. And Hoffman making her return to action after missing all of U.S. Open with a hamstring injury, so perhaps some rustiness for the Brute O-line star. Meisner with the big gainer down the line to Wang. Phoenix looking for another break. Give and go from Way through Parker. She gives it right back, but we have a stoppage downfield. That'll bring play to a halt. Disc will stay with Parker, though it looks like. The disc tapped back in by Chow. Meisner able to beat Cedar's strike as Phoenix enters the red zone. Parker doing a lot of work for the point for Phoenix. Ledley now swinging just outside the end zone to continue to weigh for the score. Phoenix really clicking at the moment. They add a break, and that's their biggest lead of this game.
So as a coach at this point, I'm thinking, do I call a timeout? Do I get people kind of back in it? There's been a little bit of miscommunications we see. Like you said, Hoffman may be a little bit rusty from her time off for her injury, but they really need to reel it in right now, especially when we see all of these games ending by a 1-point difference.
Yeah, several games going to Universe last round, including Brute Squads. This is unfamiliar territory for Brute Squad, I would say. We're not accustomed to seeing them go down early in games. We did so last round against Fury. They were down 8-6 at half, able to come back and force double game point. But, you know, even those games that they lost against Fury, they had the leads in those games at halftime both times. So we have not seen them really have to fight their way back from deficits really over the last 4 years very often. Yeah. So unfamiliar territory for them. We'll see how they're able to respond. But really a great response from Phoenix, I would say, Eileen, after giving up that early break.
Well, and Jenny Way just is unstoppable. I mean, I can't, especially when they were playing the Eurostars recently, she was all over the field and just doing everything. So once the Phoenix D gets the disc, it's going to be really hard to get it back.
You mentioned the Eurostars. We should say, I think we'd be remiss to say that we didn't say that Phoenix was the only team to beat the Eurostars on the Eurostars tour. Mm-hmm. Really an impressive performance from them. Brute Squad had a rough go in that one, losing 15-11. And again, in that one, got off to a sloppy start. So that's been the trend for them, a worrying trend for them perhaps. Trying to dig their way out of it with a hold here as Juliana Warfley gains a few yards to her former college teammate Angela Zhu, to winning a couple of national championships together at Dartmouth. Alex Odie getting her first touch of this game. Looking for Wong. Oh. Wong with a big bid. Definitely used to seeing that from Cassie Wong. Often able to get to it. That one was too far, though. So Brute Squad with another miscue offensively.
I want the Cassie Wong highlight reel video, like right now.
Sign me up for that as well. One of the best bidders, I would say, in Ultimate. Ooh, thrown to traffic is caught. Becky Widmeyer able to make the play under pressure. And Stanland going for a big gainer, able to compete it to Janes. So Phoenix knocking on the door of another break here. Dawn Colton getting the reset to Sue. Back with Widmeyer. Colton on a stumbling Widmeyer, unable to make the catch. Looks like we have a foul call on the throw.
Double foul call. Looks like Wong got caught up a little bit with Widmeyer.
I caught a foul too. Yeah.
Deal with this one first.
Yeah. I don't like you just kick my feet, and that's what I thought. It's tough. I don't, it's hard. Okay. I think you.
No contest here. Okay. All right. No contest here.
Do you want to look at?
And there's a foul on the throw then, so right. Yep, so play on, cool. And 0-1, whenever you're ready.
I have to say, I think Colton was really bailed out by that foul downfield because that did not look like a foul to me on the throw.
No, it wasn't, but it was definitely a foul for the
Yes,
cut.
yes.
Yep.
So the tangling of feet, maintaining possession for Phoenix, but they turn over shortly after resuming play. So Brute Squad surviving the point for now as Grignon Tomas going to send a big backhand to Trope all alone downfield. And a quick little flip to Odie in the end zone. So Brute Squad just barely surviving that point, get a much needed hold to stay in this one.
You know, and against the Eurostars, Brute was missing a ton of their players. Like Odie wasn't playing, Hoffman wasn't playing, Werfli wasn't playing. So I think that, you know, they had a really hard time starting. So I was anticipating a different start to this game, but to see them continue to struggle on offense is something that I wasn't anticipating was going to happen in this game. So I'm glad that they were able to finally get this nice hold.
And they had to do some work defensively to get it. Phoenix had it just outside the end zone. But a nice connection between Grignon Tomas and Trope. And Aileen, you touched on this a little bit, but it really has been a lot of fun seeing Trope carve out a role for herself on this Brute Squad team after coming over, playing a few years with Seattle Riot. Trope, another player that is playing her college ultimate at Dartmouth, as so many of these players on Brute Squad seemingly have done.
Yeah, I don't know. Is she from the Northeast? Is that why she moved back?
She's from Seattle. She's
Okay.
in school in the Northeast. I don't remember the exact details, but I think there's something about after your second or third year, one of those years at Dartmouth, you have to take a summer semester.
Gotcha.
So I think she's just spending her summer in the New England area, and rather than traveling and trying to make that tough commute work with Riot, playing with Brute Squad this season. Not the only player that's made that switch. Lauren Sadler, a star for this Brute Squad team, also played with Seattle Riot for a number of years.
So again, they're coming out, match defense it looks like.
As they so often do, Brute Squad trusting their athletes downfield. And Worth, an impressive athlete in her own right, though, making a nice grab under pressure from Cammie Groom. Two of the fastest players in the division going head-to-head. That's a fun matchup.
So to be a flat mark, try to prevent them from getting the disc down quickly like they've been doing the first couple of points.
See Backus making that grab from Jones. Able to continue it down the sideline. And further continue down the sideline, this time for Worth, who's earned herself plenty of space downfield from Groom. So an easy score in the end after patience in the midfield from Phoenix. Their offense really just taking it to the Brute Squad defense right now.
I mean, I wonder about this. So this side of the field that we're on right now is definitely the harder side of the field to throw. But then if you are going in this direction, then you'd be forcing backhand. And so you make this decision to throw flick, but then it becomes easier for the offense to get it to the high side of the field and work it down. So that's, you know, what are you supposed to do there?
Yeah, we'll see. We can only wait and see how they adjust. But at the moment, Phoenix offense winning the battle with the Brute Squad D-line. And that's not something we say very often, that someone is, you know, really just straight up winning that matchup.
Yep.
It's also not very often that you see a player burn away from Cammie Groom like that.
Right.
But Ann Worth, really a budding star at this level. She had a big breakout at the college level this season and has really just been on a whirlwind tour of exciting play.
She was definitely somebody that we planned specifically for when we were playing, when the Gridlock was playing the Raleigh team this year, because of her ability to be all over the field and make such a huge impact.
Yeah, the 2019 College Ultiworld Offensive Player of the Year in the women's division. You can see why. Just so unstoppable downfield. You see Brute Squad now needing to hold to keep the first half going. Tajima hitting Hoffman, who worked her way open. Now with Chow, but that forehand ends up out of bounds, looking for Trope. Not the right angle on it from Chow, so Phoenix will have a chance to break for a commanding first half lead.
So now it's easier to force this side of the field because it's flick. It is a more difficult throw to make. Doesn't look like Wei has much difficulty though.
No, easily able to connect with Ledley back in the hands of Wei as Phoenix flips the field. Chesky now the European transplant. And a big layout to save it from Wang. Gets a hand on it, unable to hold on.
She actually looked like she stumbled a little bit right before she laid out because I thought she had that.
Yeah, not a clean bid from Wang. So Brute Squad has it once again. Offense still trying to find its rhythm. That throw pops up, a near block, but Hoffman able to save it.
I'm upset that she wasn't able to get that deep look. She was all alone, the backfield, but didn't look like her thrower saw her in time.
It's really been a lot of work in the backfield for Brute Squad. So far, the handlers have not been able to connect a whole lot with the downfield cutters. There's Rom able to get it, though, coming underneath. High release from Tajima, but that one gets away from her, but it is saved by Chow. And quick continue to Schwamm. I think maybe a little bit too quick. No, they're going to say that was clean. So Brute Squad once again survives the break scare to get the hold, stay in this half a little bit longer.
You keep using that word survive, and that's really what it looks like here. Nothing is easy right now for Brute on offense. I mean, part of it might be the new additions to the O-line, but really just we know that they've been struggling this season and in previous seasons. How are they going to clean that up?
You saw that bid from Wang. Getting so close, really as close as you can get without a hold in the catch. And Brute Squad going to take a timeout, try to stay in this half a little bit longer. We'll be right back on the other side of this break. So, not the game so far that I think many people would have expected, Eileen, despite the results from the previous round, where again, Phoenix did upset Toronto Sixers. Really a pretty big upset. I think a lot of people expect Toronto Sixers to be a true semifinals contender come nationals, and Phoenix kind of on the cusp of a quarters team, it feels like. Brute Squad, I mean, has been the best team, in the division this season, has been one of the best power programs for years now. But really a sloppy start from Brute Squad. Phoenix, I think, is very deserving, I would say, of their lead right now.
Yeah, no, and I mean, like I said, Phoenix has had this slow rise through this season, and the confidence they've built, and even without their coach here, being so committed to the depth of their team and having faith that everyone in their squad is going to be able to contribute goes a long way.
Yeah, that is one area where I would have to say I'm very impressed by Phoenix. In a game where they look like they might be pulling off an upset, I think oftentimes you would guess it's because one player is just having a stellar, unstoppable performance, but that really hasn't been the case. The whole team has really across the board looked more competent than Brute Squad. And they have a chance to hold for 8-6. Slow start, though, still pinned deep in their own territory. It's Wei with the disc, looking for Sue on the reset. Instead goes to Powell a little bit further back. This is a bit more like it defensively from Brute Squad. We haven't really seen them pin their ears back like this and hold Phoenix in their own territory for so long.
The cutters are getting farther away, making it more difficult.
Phoenix trying to find a release as Sue opens up a big backhand for Jones. That one floats over the defender, Nicole, canning nicely. And then Phoenix with the quick continue. So Sue taking advantage of the wind with that throw, getting it just over the defense, and an easy continue for Jones into the end zone. And so Phoenix will go up 2 goals, or go into half, up 2 goals on Boston Brute Squad. Really an impressive performance from them so far, Eileen.
And that's where that huck is most effective, from the high side of the field all the way across. And Jones is a great receiver. I mean, we see her behind the disc all the time, but she's going to win that matchup most of the time.
So a strong first half performance from Raleigh Phoenix. Sloppy start from Brute Squad. Should set up for an exciting second half, though. Brute Squad trying to avoid another upset here to start the Pro Champs. Should be a good second half, folks. We'll take a breather and be back for the close of this one. Phoenix up 8-6.
Every time the pressure rises, we play better. Let's go take down the field.
An Ultiworld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Brute Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.
We're back here for the second half between Raleigh, Phoenix, and Boston Brute Squad. So far, we've got an upset of brewing. Raleigh Phoenix up 8-6 over the #1 team in the country. Eileen, we talked a little bit about it during the first half, but really just not a great performance so far from Brute Squad, and Phoenix seems to be doing most of the right things out there.
Yeah, and it's like the little things that they're doing, right, in terms of how they're looking immediately to the other side of the field for the continuation, how they are, making sure that they are getting their marks on quickly to prevent continuations from the other side. I mean, it's just the little things off the disc that I'm seeing happen for Phoenix right now, which is really impressive.
So Brute Squad with a hole to dig out of here. They will start the second half on offense. But I'm not sure how much comfort that will be for them. The offense really has, even when they've gotten holds, has not looked by any means super comfortable out there. They'll try to turn that around as Synchro catches the pull and centers to Tajima. Tajima with it once again. Nice help defense from Phoenix to keep it away from Synchro. That one floating. Malinowski, nice job to attack it in the air, beating way to the disc, and now Brute Squad off to the races. Hoffman finding Malinowski, so Malinowski influential there for the Brute Squad offense. Eileen, during halftime we were talking amongst ourselves that we've not seen a whole lot from Becky Malinowski. She comes up big on the first point of the half there. Brute Squad gets the hold.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting, she was very quiet in the first half. I see she has a knee brace on, so I was just wondering what was going on with that. But when she opens up the field like that, she's an amazing target. You have her going really strong on the disc. She has a ton of experience doing that, using her height really effectively. And once she decides she wants it, it's really hard to stop her.
Yeah, Malinowski been a stalwart on this Brute Squad O-line for many years now, and has always offered that big play threat. It's not often that you see a player beat Jenny Way that strongly in the air, but really nice job to go up strong and confident by Malinowski and make that catch. And then the quick disc movement from there gets the hold for Brute Squad. They've not had really any holds come that easy to them, so perhaps a good sign, offense getting it worked out.
I wonder what Coach Ari Jackson said to them at halftime, because we had talked about that was a thing that they should be fixing, and hopefully they can continue that through this half. But the defense will have to get some breaks in order to get them back into the game.
Yeah, I do wish we could have listened in on that halftime talk, because as I said, Brute Squad really not used to being in this spot. I don't think Ari Jackson's had to give a whole lot of, hey, we need to come back here now, pep talks. But Brute Squad, you know, they are, I think, in a little bit of danger. Come into this weekend ranked 6th. You know, they're certainly going to make nationals and be a top seed, but, you know, if they don't find some stronger results, they could perhaps be in danger of really just having an unfavorable seed at nationals, which would make their trip a lot tougher. There's so many teams this year really being at that top of the division, where the last few years we've really seen 3 or, you know, 4. This year kind of feels like there's 5 or 6 teams kind of in that caliber. So these results and points do matter for Brute Squad. We see Phoenix offensively here for the first time in the second half. Claire Revere going to bring play to a stop after contact from Holbert on the mark.
So, no contest, and on 1.
No contest from Holbert on the contact. Jones looking for Worth downfield. That one turns over a little bit too much from Jones. Worth unable to make it. So now Brute Squad will have a chance to break and tie this one up. It'll be Zoo picking up, Worfley with Zoo as the reset. Broom throwing into traffic, but it's Worfley who's able to make the grab. High release over the mark from Worfley. Nice. Little elevator pass from Worfley. Brute Squad working quickly now. Disc with Groom here on the near sideline. And she is able to find Holbert, who toes the line. So through 2 possessions, no turnovers from Brute Squad. They get the break. We're tied back up. That's much more like it.
Yep. Well, so, you know, I know that Phoenix has been doing well without their coach here this weekend, Eddie Alcorn. So I wonder, you know, at halftime when the coach's presence is so important, you know, that might be why Brute is coming out firing a little bit better than Phoenix is at this point.
Yeah, definitely a reversal of the script here to start the second half.
Okay, that thing is ridiculous. I can't even. I kind of want it, but
where would you put it?
In my backyard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, a truly massive inflatable flamingo there on the sideline. I think it belongs to Philadelphia Amp.
Yes.
Saw them carrying it around earlier. So
maybe they're using it to like corral the kids. I see an infant there, so just like make sure they.
Yeah,
don't
a little mini daycare office there. We see the Phoenix offense back out there. And again, it is that O-line they send out after getting broken. With Lindsay Sue and Lyra Olson out there, 2 captains for this team. It's Stanlin with the disc now. Dropping it back to Olson. Saved there by Olson. A little sloppy on the reset look from Sue. But so far, that's all right for Phoenix. They still maintain possession of the disc. And now Sue beating Canning underneath for a big gainer. A couple of forehand fakes before dropping it back to Colton. And another grab from Sue, this time under a lot of pressure from Canning. And she's going to air out a big forehand. Caught by Colton, the youngster, making a play over the Brute Squad defense in the end zone. Bailing out Sue a little bit there to help defense in the area, but Phoenix does get the hold.
Phoenix doing a really nice job that point, using the width of the field, going back and forth. But yes, I think that was a bit of a bailout.
It was Odie in the area hunting, so close to getting the block. Colton does such a nice job of high, pointing it under pressure. I believe the youngest player on this team, I know Khalil Phillips is technically on the roster, but I believe just as a practice player. Colton just finished her freshman season at North Carolina.
It is so scary how early like people are getting so good. I mean, when I was playing, we used to think that we would say that, we peaked at like 30 to 32. And it is 10 years earlier at this point, it seems like.
With the developing youth scenes,
Yep.
I mean, players come into the college game with so much experience. Yep. And, we mentioned the Brute Squad youth scene. The Triangle youth scene has really come on strong the last several years or so in both divisions, boys and girls. Found a lot of success at the YCC level and have produced a lot of stars at the college and now club level. See, Brute Squad back out there on offense. They've yet to turn it over this half. Grignon Tomas going to test that trend, going for it all, looking for Malinowski. And Malinowski, great job to box out the defender, Chesky. Able to reel in that huck from Grignon Tomas relatively easily. Again, Becky Malinowski making her impact felt here in the second half.
Maybe she was just resting
Perhaps.
in the first half.
Saving it up for when her team really needed her. Okay, another look at the nice forehand, though, from Grignon Tomas. Saw her teammate down there with the advantage. Put it in a spot where Malinowski could be able to maintain that advantage with good work there on the box out.
That's just a great awareness. I mean, I imagine, I always think that people who are coming from basketball backgrounds, for example, have a really nice advantage because they understand where their bodies are and how to maintain their positioning in ways that other athletes might not.
This is a fun conversation that I haven't had a chance to have with you. What sport do you think translates the best to Ultimate? We mentioned the youth scene, but a lot of players still discovering the game in college after coming, from sports backgrounds and other sports in high school. So if you could pick, would you pick a former basketball player?
That's really hard because I also think that soccer players have an advantage because they have the awareness of the field and they are a little bit better at understanding the positioning in terms of the defense and things like that. But I would also say tennis for handlers is really important. So I don't know if there's one I would say.
Maybe if you get a player that plays all three.
Yeah. Yeah.
The soccer, basketball, tennis combo. Dream player right there. Yeah, I agree. I've also thought tennis also has the forehand, backhand. Players pick up the throws a lot quicker, I think. We see Worth making a grab underneath, former cross-country player. So a natural runner, and we see that really translate in her game.
And that is a fun matchup, Longworth matchup. Different players, in terms of how they use their bodies and position themselves on the field. And Wong maybe not being as quick, but really using the positioning and triangulation on the field to keep Worth.
See an awkward throw going up from Powell, but it's saved by Tormey. Really just a complete bailout punt, I think, that throw. Works out in the end, though. Now I see Kyra Katabe making a grab, but a pick brings play to a halt. Katabe ground checks the disc back in, turning to find Jones for the reset. Jones just beating Kramer to the disc, and then the forehand continue to the end zone to Tormey. So Phoenix maybe getting a little bit fortunate there on that completion on the punt, but it's impressive offense from there, and they get a clean hold.
Kramer is one of my favorite players to watch on Brute Squad. Just such a great defender, getting there on the mark there very quickly, and just such a workhorse.
So close to getting that block, beating Jones that one, but Jones just had the reach advantage.
And we see Douglas and Worth having a discussion right now. I'm not sure. Looks like they're smiling, though, so that's okay.
Yeah, it seemed like they were discussing how much and what kind of contact is okay.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I like the rules that we adopted for the Premier Ultimate League was having the more strict contact fouls that the WFDF has in their rule set. I do really appreciate the athleticism required to actually not have body contact in order to play really good defense. I think it just requires a higher skill set, because anyone could push up against you or have a little bit of body contact. But having that kind of control, I think it makes the game much cleaner, prettier, and makes our athletes work a lot harder.
We see Brute Squad back out there on offense, trying to keep pace with Phoenix here and stay in this game in the second half. Grignon Tomas to Chow, quickly to Cedar. Malinowski once again has her fingerprints all over the offense. Then she continues to the end zone for Chow. So Becky Malinowski continuing to show out here in the second half. That one a bit easier for her, but the Brute Squad offense finally clicking. They get another clean hole.
2 scores and an assist, Malinowski, so far.
Yeah, so far the second half has been the Becky Malinowski show from a Brute Squad perspective.
And I love seeing Lane Cedar on this team. Lane is from Atlanta, where I started my Ultimate career. Of course, she was probably a toddler when I moved down there. But I did have the pleasure of coaching her on U19 many years ago, along with Claudia Jima and Emerson Akrope, actually. So it's really fun to see her up in the Northeast and playing with her former teammates from a while ago and integrating herself onto this Brute team.
See Jackson talking to the D-line. Brute Squad still in need of another break to retake the lead. You see the team temporary tattoos for Phoenix, the NC.
What do you think that stands for? Just kidding.
Just kidding. Now, if you gave me one guess. and I do think it's interesting. Phoenix, we call them Raleigh Phoenix because I think they're really primarily based out of Raleigh, but they do identify as North Carolina Phoenix, picking players from different parts of the state. We see Jesse Jones snapping a big forehand downfield to Revere, who had plenty of space downfield. And a quick forehand to Backus, maybe a little nonchalant from Backus. Looked like it was going to be an easy 2-throw hold for Phoenix. Instead, Backus had to check the fingers, ask them why they didn't hold on to that disc. And so now Brute Squad with a chance to break and take what would be their first lead of the game.
I mean, that seemed like a little blown coverage to me. So that's that mistake. She's going to be haunted by that later on, maybe.
And it seemed on that replay, it looked like maybe the wind popped it up at the least opportune time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, two really wide open throws. Phoenix will want that second one back. Brute Squad going to try to take advantage. Revere nearly hunting that block down. Worfley instead able to hang on and finds Wong underneath. Wong now to Negus. Ooh, behind Worfley, able to get that hand back behind her and reel it in. Reset to Lee now. Brute Squad looking to flip the field, and they do. Sadler going to the end zone now for Wong. That one pops up and is intercepted by Backus. So the defensive play from Backus atoning for the earlier turnover. Red zone error from Brute Squad gives Phoenix a second chance.
Looked to be a bit of a gift with that missed throw.
Definitely one that I would chalk down as an unforced error. And a throw into traffic. The blind back block from Worfley takes it right back for Brute Squad. Zhu picks up, and she will call a timeout. Pivotal point in this game, 10-10. Brute Squad has not had a lead in this one. And so they will get it sorted out. Be right back in just a moment. Try to get this break and take the lead. So Brute Squad here at 10-10 with Raleigh Phoenix, trying to fight off the surprising upset bid. Brute has looked much better in the second half and now have an opportunity to get their first lead in this one. Disc is with Zhu, who called that timeout. Oh, and that throw behind Aaron Ray, so really just a nightmare for Brute Squad out of that timeout. First throw, turnover, relatively unforced. So Phoenix taking back over. We haven't had a whole lot of points like this. So we see the point block from Sadler stuffing that throw from Jones. Smacks her coach and teammates on the sideline, but I think they're just okay with that. Brute Squad with a short field here. Warfully picking up this time. She swings it to the middle to Zhu. Zhu trying to get it back to Warfleet. She does. Those two doing all the work so far. Now a swing to Lee. Lee looking for Wong in the end zone, and Wong gives chase and makes the grab with the layout. Brute Squad finally able to get the break and cap off that point. Going up 11-10, the first time they've led in this game.
Nice that they got that second opportunity to get the score on that side of the field. Much better throw that second time, and we got to see a Wong layout, which is nice.
And all that came because of that point block from Sadler, the foot block. Jones winding up for the big backhand down the line. And Wong giving us a show there with that layout. We talked earlier, Eileen, one of the most fun players to watch layout in the division for my money.
Totally agree. And that foot block, I remember like when I was coaching early on, we used to always tell our players no foot blocks, but I think the game has progressed in a way that people are much more aware of where their bodies are. And if you notice that foot block, the foot came back and out as opposed to forward and towards. And I mean, that's just a really nice play.
Particularly on a thrower the caliber of Jesse Jones. Sadler, though, been around the block a bit defensively, has been an elite defender for a long time now.
It's a nice pull.
They're going to pin Raleigh deep. It's Sue catching the pull, centering to Widmeyer. So for the first time, Phoenix facing a deficit in this one. See how they respond to that. Widmeyer striking cut. Now getting it back to the middle. Disc with Emma Peasley. She drops it back to Widmeyer. And then throwing into traffic, easy interception by Vicky Chen underneath. So Brute Squad taking over with a short field and a quick break. Douglas to Groom. So a rare mistake there in the short space from Phoenix, really gifting Brute Squad with an easy break opportunity. They take advantage. They've scored 3 in a row now.
One thing that I noticed too is they put Amber out on defense there to try to stifle the handler movement that had been happening. That really helped them out that point, I think.
There's the easy, really easy completion from Douglas to Groom to cap off the point. But you're right, Eileen. It was the defense that earned that break. Maybe sometimes that goes without saying, but the defense really made it very easy for the offense there.
And again, it's the things that are happening off the play, right, that are making the big difference there, because Amber didn't get the D, but she stopped their go-to person from getting it, which causes just a lot more pressure. So you see Phoenix taking a timeout right now, just to collect themselves and to remind themselves that they deserve to be here, that they had this game early on and are very capable of coming out of this timeout and punching it in very quickly and getting right back out to even with this team.
I have to say I have been very impressed, Eileen, with this second half performance from Brute Squad. I think this is much closer to the level that we expected them to see for the entirety of this game. Is there anything you've noticed that has changed for them? Are they just executing a little bit better?
It is just with the execution, and part of it might be just some of them were still maybe holding on to the last game a little bit through that first half. Like we said, we were surprised that Malinowski wasn't making a bigger statement in the first half. Maybe she just needed a little bit of time to get back into this game. But having those players and actually executing in the way they could execute this half makes the difference.
Yeah, and, we didn't mention this, but you kind of alluded to it there. I mean, that Fury loss was their first regular season loss in well over a calendar year.
Yeah.
They haven't faced that in their season in really quite a long time. So perhaps a little bit of a hangover to start this one. They're certainly looking like the stronger team here in the second half. And Phoenix, I think, now in danger of this one slipping away from them a little bit. They'll have to clean up their own offensive miscues now.
So instead of going to their flex line, they keep their O-line out after that timeout. Try to punch it in.
It's that Worth-Wong matchup once again. Worth winning it on that cut for a big under. She resets it to Powell. Quick give-a-go between Powell and Katabay. Jones to Worth. Backus drops it back to Powell as the Phoenix offense continues to work it down the field, working these unders. Many of them going to Ann Worth. She gets another one there. And now it feeds Powell cutting up the line.
Oh.
And Powell returns the favor. Ann Worth taking over on the point offensively for Phoenix. Gets them on the board with the clean hold.
And there was that backhand force that I was asking about earlier in terms of if you use the win but then allow them those easier throws as opposed to forcing them to the high side of the field.
It was fun to see the potential impact Ann Worth can have on a point. Just taking it to Cassie Wong, one of the best defenders in the division, but could not keep up with Worth on that point.
Especially when they get to those small spaces, it's going to be really, really hard for any defender.
Sure. Yeah, she is quickly becoming one of the more dangerous cutting threats in the game.
With great hands as well.
Yes. Yeah, it seems a little unfair that she has 1 year of college eligibility left. Gets to go ply her trade once again with North Carolina Pleiades. Elite club defenders are having a hard time covering her right now, so
right.
I am a little bit worried for the college division next year, but it should be fun for us to watch. Brute Squad gets to send the O-line back out there. Now with a lead to work with. And the soft cap horn has just blown, so if Brute Squad gets this one, it'll be game to 15. Nice grab by Tajima to save the throw behind her from Trope. And she is fouled on the mark. Phoenix trying to get a foot block of their own, but said contact on the hand from Tajima. Sinacrope to Malinowski, gets it right back. Back now with Tajima. Here's Chow. Offense stagnating a bit for Brute Squad here in the red zone. Trying to ride the defensive pressure. So far it's been a lot of resets. Finally a swing here to Leanne Hoffman. Malinowski, another one of those weird little push passes, and then a turnover on the continue into the end zone. Hoffman a little frustrated with herself that she was unable to make that catch. So Phoenix with a chance to break to tie this one back up. The full field to go, though. Parker finding Meisner, who'd wriggled free from Malinowski. Way stooping low to get that forehand to Murphy. They give up most of the yards right back, but Murphy with the give and go. Parker with the offhand reset, a little behind Meisner. That offhand throw didn't seem entirely necessary from Parker. And when it doesn't come off, it maybe doesn't look the best as a mistake. So Brute Squad takes back over, and now just outside the end zone as play comes to a stop with the disc in Trope's hand.
So let's see if they can get patient all the way through to the end. I think they might have gotten a little bit impatient at the end of that last possession.
And Cinecope has to get down to save that one. Popping to Cedar. Cedar with a big bid. Coming up empty. So again, perhaps some impatience from Brute Squad down near the end zone. Tough look from Cinecope. And it's too far out in front of Cedar.
You know, Brute usually is really nice and patient, but it did look like maybe she got caught up, her feet got caught up a little bit again.
Oh. Meisner just grabbing that one. Discussion about whether she was in or out. Looks like Cinecope going to concede that Meisner did make the play in bounds. To my eye, it looked like she was in.
Yes.
Throw downfield, saved by Murphy. Not sure if she was the intended target for Wang, but she makes the grab all the same. Wang has it once again, and a much easier connection to Murphy this time, but she's still just outside the end zone. Reset to Wang, and now Wang trying to bend it around everybody, and does. Nice leaping grab by Chesky. Hoffman was in the area giving chase, and Chesky able to high point the rainbow into the end zone from Wang. So Phoenix on the second chance does get the break. We are tied once again with game to 14.
That was an impressive catch there. And like you said, a rainbow throw, not an easy catch to make. This was a nice toe in. Definitely in bounds. That is nice concentration, watching that right into the hand. Not a great throw.
Yeah, really an audacious throw, I would say, from Wang. Kojima was way out there trying to take that throw away, and she goes for the bend around anyway, and Chesky with the bailout. Really a nice grab, though. I want to revisit that grab by Meisner. I mean, her momentum was definitely taking her out of bounds. Great job to get that foot back behind her despite her momentum taking her out of bounds. Maintain possession, and a few throws later, Phoenix able to get that break to tie us back up.
So does this, I'm not sure, does this mean they're on serve now, or I don't remember at this point.
I can't keep track.
Is this another timeout?
I think yes, back on serve, and I believe yes is another timeout.
Okay.
Because Phoenix did start on defense.
Okay.
So back on serve, but setting up for an exciting finish either way here. 12-12.
Again.
Yes, hey, I'm not complaining. and that's something that I think, we were really hopeful for this weekend. Last year, there's just no getting around it. The Pro Championships field was very disappointing.
Yeah.
Boston Brute Squad was the only semifinals caliber team there, and while they got a good test from Scandal in the championship for the first half or so, it really just wasn't the caliber of tournament you hope and expect from the Pro Championships. But this year, I mean, as loaded a field as you could possibly get. 10 of the top 12 teams are all here. 5 or 6 teams that feel like they're going to win a national championship this year, and everyone else is going to feel like they're a quarters team. I mean, you really can't ask for much better, Eileen, to end the regular season.
I know. I'm really glad that the West Coast teams really came and committed to coming to this tournament this year. I know last year there was some grumblings around West Coast teams not traveling as much and things like that. So this really bodes well for the division and the camaraderie of the community in general.
And it just makes for more fun Ultimate to watch, and who can complain about that? It's definitely a fun one here. 12-12, game to 14 between Boston Brute Squad and Raleigh Phoenix. Phoenix coming off of a break to tie this one back up. Cami Groom peeling away from her defender. Completes that one to Ray around midfield. Ray spins and finds Zoo back behind her. Zoo to the middle. It's a nice break throw, finding Tajima. Zhu swinging it to Trope. Sue just there, unable to get the block, though, and now Groom just outside the end zone. Groom getting it off the sideline to Zhu in the middle. Groom gets it now, looking for the continue.
Oh, no.
Beyond a bidding Tajima. Not a great throw there from Cammie Groom. So another red zone turnover from Brute Squad. That's been the MO for them these last couple of points. So Phoenix, well, they had a chance to go down for the break, but a turnover there on the far sideline. And so Brute Squad takes back over with a very short field to work with. Tajima on the far sideline. Grignon and Tomas under pressure from Way, and an awkward stumble there from Way on the end of that run. It maybe tweaked her knee a little bit.
I was going to say, is she cramping? Because that's usually what's going on when she leaves the field.
That's true. Jenny Way, a serial cramper, I would have to say. Definitely something that plagues her, but I mean, she plays so hard and explosively. You can understand why as she goes off, but does look to be mostly fun walking off under her own power without too much trouble. But a player you don't want to see leave the field if you're Phoenix at this point in the game.
Right.
We see Brute Squad call another timeout.
Well, we were talking earlier when we were off about the rule of being able to call subs during timeouts, and I would encourage that to be considered for a future rules edition. I think it makes such a difference in terms of strategy and the ability of teams to stay engaged in the point, but also for the viewer. I think it makes for a more exciting, interesting game.
And the counter arguments that I've heard against it are that Ultimate is a team game. You have to be able to use the your whole roster, but I don't think it's necessarily contrary to that. I think ability to use subs would probably, incentivize going deeper into your roster, using more players. And I think you want the best players out there. More points. It makes Ultimate a little more fun. So either way, I totally am with you on that. Hopefully, being a future rule implemented here at this level. We saw Toro there on the sideline supporting their local contingent, Phoenix. They're being treated to an exciting one. Phoenix still looking for this upset bid. A hold here for Brute would be critical, though, with game to 14. Tight handler defense from Murphy, but Cinecrope able to get just enough space for the reset. Now it's back with Tajima. Again, Murphy making Cinecrope really work. Tajima had to look her off and come to Zhu instead. Impressive red zone defense from Phoenix. It's going to lead to a turnover here. Throw getting away from Zhu. Murphy, who'd locked up Cinecrope just a moment ago, getting the interception. Again, a long way to go for Phoenix, but they do have their second chance to break this point.
One of the things that I've been seeing this season a little bit more with Brute than I haven't seen previous seasons is their inefficiency in the red zone. I mean, I saw a couple of times in that point, it looked like someone's popping out from the middle, breaking off a cut that's coming that could possibly open, and just a little bit less patience happening with the squad this year.
Yeah, and for most of the second half, I mean, they were clinical down there, but you're right, the turnovers in the red zone have returned these last couple of points. Phoenix now trying to take advantage as they enter the red zone. Meisner down the sideline to the end zone for Kristen Reed. And Phoenix, on their second chance, get the break to retake the lead late against Brute Squad. They are just a point away from what would be a massive upset here, setting up for a thrilling finish, I have to say, Eileen.
You got to be a little bit frustrated right now if you're Brute's O-line. Having been broken so many times in this game, just knowing what they can do, and then having this happen both in the beginning of this game and now at the end, where it's possibly going to cost them the entire game.
And I think we have to say, it's been from their standouts, a lot of it. Angela Zhu made the mistake there. We've seen Tajima and Cinecrope both have errors in the backfield. Those are not players you expect to have those mistakes. So it looked like the Brute Squad offense had it figured out there to start the second half. Now it's back to that sloppiness. really kind of perplexing seeing that from them, but I think there you have to give a lot of credit to the Phoenix defense. Really took a lot of resets away, forced, just built that pressure up continually until they got the turnover.
Well, Murphy was just stifling.
Yes.
In the backfield.
Yeah, not a whole lot of players very often going to shut down Amber Sinacrope like that.
Mm-hmm.
So now Phoenix has the upper hand. They just need one more hold to get this win. Brute Squad will need a hold here and then a break if they are going to avoid an 0-2 start here at the Pro Championships.
Well, I'm rooting for a Brute score so we can have another.
Yeah, give us double game point every round.
Yeah.
I would be fine with that as well. It's Warfley with the disc for Brute Squad.
Nice.
Reed with a big layout bid coming up just empty. Malinowski with it now. Nice mark from Chesky. Warfley all alone in the backfield, but Malinowski's unable to get it to her. High release now from Lee to Douglas.
Phoenix is doing some really nice bracketing downfield to stop the deep game that we saw Brute having so much success with in the beginning of this half.
See Douglas once again. Oh, and Malinowski taking her eyes off the disc at the last moment. Had the catch for the easy under. Takes her eye off it, drops it. Totally unforced mistake for Malinowski, who'd been having such a nice half. So now Phoenix will have a chance to break for the game here. What I would have to say would be one of the biggest result maybe, certainly the last few years for Phoenix. Have not been able to win a game like this. Already been a strong weekend for them, already having upset Toronto Sixers. Now looking for an even bigger upset here against Boston Brute Squad. We see Ledley with the disc on the far sideline. She's going to swing it to the middle to Way. Disc with Wang now. Near sideline to Reed. Back with Wang, who has really had a very strong game in this Phoenix backfield. Warfully
nice.
Beating Parker to the reset look there, though. So Brute Squad staving off the break opportunity there that would have ended the game. They take back over. We have a stoppage as Lane Cedar goes off with an injury. Used this word several times already, but Brute Squad just surviving this point, trying to still in it at the moment. Douglas with the free reset to Warfley. Schwam with the disc. Getting back to Warfley, and she's going down the line to Lee, and she's able to hang on through the bid. So Brute Squad, they survive another scare that would have ended the game. Instead, they get the hold. We will see double game point.
Yes. So excited. This is a nice catch. Warfley is so impressive. I didn't get to see her play in the Eurostars game. She was sitting that one out. So I'm really excited to be able to see her today.
One of those players that does every single little thing correctly. Doesn't always put up huge stats, but a player that, is just a glue player in that backfield that you can rely on at all times. She defensively also a great player. She's the one who got the block to get the disc back. And the nice throw down the line. The Dartmouth connection there between Warfley and Lee.
Powerful D-line out here, but with also some offensive prowess for anticipating the break. And
you see Worth, Way out there, Jones, Claire Revere, Lila Stanlin, Ashley Powell, and Lindsay Sue out there on offense for Phoenix on double game point. Defensively for Brute Squad, you see Cammie Groom, Claire Trope, Lauren Sadler, Angela Zhu, Cassie Wong, Amber Sinacrope, and Claudia Tajima. So those are the two units going head-to-head with it all on the line here in the second round. I believe a win here for Phoenix would definitely put them in a great position to make the bracket. A loss could really put Brute Squad in big trouble. So a lot on the line despite this just being the second round here. It's Powell with it on the far sideline. Sue able to get separation from Wong with the throw a little bit behind her, and she's unable to hang on. So a short field turnover gives Brute Squad a chance to break here for the win and avoid the upset. Angela Zhu turns to find Tajima. Not a whole lot open downfield for Tajima. She's going to try to step around the mark. And Powell has a call back. She was a defender on Synacrope. I think calling an offensive foul on the play.
I think so.
Players having a conversation about it from afar.
Amber doesn't want to give up any of her position at this point.
I was looking at the disc and I was blocked from seeing that. So it sounds like we can agree we'll play to the contest. All right, so foul contest is back here.
And you heard there the observer didn't see the infraction, the alleged infraction, I should say, so ends in a contested foul between Synacrope and Powell. Disc back with Tajima. Synacrope able to get it again, but considerably further back than the first catch. Stanley there shutting down the reset from Tajima, but Zhu is able to get open from Wei. Grab behind her from Synacrope. She hits Trope underneath. Brute Squad knocking on the door of the break to win this one. The swing to Zhu. Tajima just beyond a big bid. Back with Zhu now just outside the end zone. In the easy throw to the front to the open groom. Brute Squad gets the break on the final point of the game. They avoid the upset bid from Phoenix. Both teams now 1-1 on the day. Thriller, though. Thriller of a second half in particular. Brute Squad, again, the theme of this game, I would say, surviving.
Yes.
Great performance, though, Eileen, from Raleigh Phoenix.
I mean, I'm not upset if I'm Raleigh Phoenix at this point. That's a great game. They've really shown themselves over the past couple weeks, and especially today, to be right up there with the best of them. Really taking it to Brute in the first half, hanging with them in the second half. So I'm proud if I'm Phoenix at this point.
You saw Stanley so close to getting that block to get the disc back on the final point. A little harsh on Phoenix, that unforced turnover. They'd played so well offensively for most of the game. But that Brute Squad defensive pressure gets to most teams eventually, and they get the break. Brute Squad just barely hanging on, avoiding what would have been a disastrous 0-2 start. They hang on and break for the win in the end, 14-13 over Phoenix. That one was fun from beginning to end. For Eileen Murray, I'm Daniel Prentice. Thanks for tuning in.
Every time the pressure rises, we play better. Let's go, take down the field.
An Ultiworld subscription gets you closer to the players and personalities you care about with game video, in-depth written and video analysis,
He's going to take off deep, but what he does is very simple.
documentary shorts,
And we've played Brute Squad before, and it just feels a little bit harder to lose this year.
and a whole lot more. To get your subscription or learn more, go to ultiworld.com/subscribe.